Well, hello, family and friends. It's Kanoi with another junk journal process video. And I have tons of photos, and a lot of people always ask me, how do you get your photos so small? So I figured I'd take the time to just explain it really quickly. I basically use a free app called Pick, Play, Post. There are many apps out there that you can use. I think the Project Life one is free, but basically you just make a 4x6 collage. And here I do 4 photos, which end up coming out by to 2x3. So that's how I do that. And then I print them on my Epson, I think it's Epson, Picture Mate photo printer. So I have that here at home so that I don't have to go to a store to print them out or anything. And now I'm finding a page for my first entry. I have this cute little candy bag that I got from a friend. It's a local Hawaiian candy brand called Noms, and I just thought the bag was super cute. So I wanted to keep that because this is one of our favorite treats. If you've never had the Lihimoi lemon gummies from Hawaii, it's a must try. And here I'm just putting a photo of my daughter who won a Be Kind award at her school. She ended up buying a donut for her teacher, just out of the kindness of her heart one day. So my teacher, or her teacher, gave her the Be Kind award. So I basically just stapled that in. This journaling process video is very simple. There's not a lot of creativity going into it, but I just needed to get these memories documented, because if I bog myself down with the creative process, I will never end up putting these things into my journal. So here my dog chewed up my awards that was hanging from my shelf. So I was like, you know what, I need to go ahead and put that into my journal, because otherwise it's just going to continue to lay on my desk and she might get a hold of it again. So I wanted to go ahead and put that in here. So just using this pocket to keep that. And my family and I went to the park one day, and I know that sounds like something so simple, but it's the simple things that really bring so much joy in life, I feel like. And especially when all 4 of us are together. My husband is a pilot, so he's actually gone a lot. And when we have the chance to spend even just an hour together by going to the park or riding our bikes, it ends up being a really special occasion. So it is something that I always try to make sure that I document it. I was thinking about it today. What happens if Instagram disappears, if Facebook disappears? And actually one of my friends is devastated because her account got hacked, and just years and years of photos are gone completely. And I just thought to myself, this is one of the reasons why I love to do memory keeping and I love to do journaling, because God forbid if something does happen to technology, we're going to have these things physically. We take for granted that all of our photos are on our phone all the time or posted on social media, but I just am living by the fact that, that may not be the case forever. So here I have some pictures of my daughter, and one of the other reasons why I took these photos was because we did this a year ago, where we went to the park and I was taking pictures of her, and I just looked at her at the park that day and thought, gosh, she has grown up so much in just a matter of a year. And it's just amazing how quickly time flies. They say that the days are long, but the years are short. And that is for sure. It feels like just yesterday we were there. And of course, I love taking photos of flowers. So there was still a little patch of, I don't know what those are, daisies or some sort. So I went ahead and took a picture of it because I thought, well, winter's coming. And even though we're in the desert and we don't have harsh winters, and we'll probably still have some flowers hanging around, it's always pretty to, have a reminder of the beautiful flowers of fall. So here I'm just hand lettering a day at the park. And this was in particular Fox Hill Park here in Summerlin in Las Vegas. One of my favorite parks that we get to go to. And luckily it's within walking distance of our home. So we always have a lot of fun when we're able to go to it. And then this label is from one of Johanna's journaling kits. So I am just documenting some of the memories that I have from that day at the park. And then this cute little wrapper was from a dim sum. My family and I went out to a dim sum place here, and I thought, first of all, that the wrapper was adorable, but we were super bummed. We my husband and I actually fell in love with this dim sum place. And so we were like, we got to take our parents when they come here. So they're visiting, and we took them there. And when we took my parents, it was great. But then when we took his parents, it was one of the worst experiences that we had. And I don't know, it was just one thing after another. Our food didn't come. It was cold when it did come. The lady was mad at us. It was just really odd. So, so bummed, because we would love the food, but the service was so bad. And it's amazing how that can really make or break whether or not you're going to return to a restaurant. And so I'm kind of sad about it, but oh well, that's life. Okay, so my son had a band performance called Colors of the Fall, and this was the program. And it's so funny because I get so excited whenever I go to something and there is some sort of paper element that they hand off to you, whether it's tickets or, a program, because I feel like nowadays everything is electronic. And so when they handed me the program as we walked through the door, I was like, yes. And my daughter looked at me. She's like, oh boy, she's only 8, but she always knows that anything paper means junk journal. So I'm just taking this program and trying to figure out where to place it and how to place it. And I always fight with myself because, I want to keep things whole and intact. And I want to be able to see the front and the back if there's a front and a back side. And of course, his name is on the back. And I want to be able to have, a memory of what they played or whatever. So I just cutting the edges off so that it fits onto this page here, just stapling it on. Like I said, I'm not putting too much effort into creativity, but I have got a couple of pictures that I want to place in here. And usually when I have pictures, I don't like to hide them. Very rarely will I stick a photo, say, inside something unless there's a window for me to be able to see it. But I did find this super adorable picture of a toad or a frog playing the banjo. And it was in my stash of ephemera, in my vintage ephemera. And I think this is one that I bought, I don't know, probably on Shein or something like that. And so I'm so glad I looked through that, because look how cute this picture is. And of course, I'm using some of my vintage music paper and placing it right beside it so that I can put the photo of my son playing the percussion without having just a plain background. And this performance was extra special just because they actually featured the percussion section. And so he was like, I think I have a solo, mommy. Anyway, my camera died, so I just finished it off by placing the photo of our family there and writing a couple of notes. That's the great thing about junk journaling, is you don't have to write pages and pages. You can just make little notes here and there, just some annotation, and then you're good to go. And that little flyer that I took out, I placed a tab on it. I actually found another photo that I wanted to add to my daughter's gymnastics entry that I made a couple weeks ago. And it was a photo of her team that I found on social media. So I was like, oh, I really need to print that out and put that in there. So I just went ahead and added it to her little flyer that she made for, her spirit gifts that she gave to her team members. So just place that on there. And then she had a cheerleading game. This was her first game. I was actually really impressed. I was a cheerleader. Of course, cheerleading is very different nowadays from when I was doing it. Much more hardcore, but these little girls, they're just beginning, and it's just a recreational cheer. And so I was just really proud of her. I was on the sidelines, and it's just so cute watching these kids finding their passions at such a young age, finding things that they love. And then, of course, there's some who are like looking at the butterflies and the grasshoppers and don't really care what's going on. And the coach is on the side, and she's like, we got a touchdown. It's time to cheer. So cute. And then once again, going back to an old entry, because my son gave me this Raiders Game Day magazine, and it was actually full of really cool things. And so I'm just tearing the cover off here so that I can figure out how to place it near this entry. Of course, the page is way too big. So I'm like, oh man, I don't want to fold it. I don't want to lose any of the parts of it. So I'm just trying to cut off any of the edges that I can to trim this down so that I can keep, most of it intact. So I just used some double-sided tape to stick that down on the left side, and then the bottom part that I took off, says it was Raiders versus Broncos. So of course I had to keep that part as well. And then I just taped it on this side. And then I was bummed because I'm like, I should have placed it on that little strip there where it made the pocket, but that's okay. We'll figure it out along the way how we can fill that fill that white space there without making it seem too disjointed from the entry prior. And then my son had another football game, another loss. Oh, such a bummer. But one thing I did want to note was that Grandma and Grandpa were here for this game. So I took a photo of him with Grandpa because Grandpa was actually a football player. He played for the University of Idaho. Actually, I think he played baseball for them, but he was a football player in high school. I think he was quarterback. So it was just really special for him to be able to watch him play. He did do pretty good at this game anyway. So at least he got to play and we got to see that. So just wanted to document it and write a few notes. And we have one more game to hopefully try to get a win in, at least one for this season. But if not, it's okay. It's a learning experience. We grow in the times of defeat. So it's fine. Okay. And then my family or my in-laws took us to the High Roller here in Vegas. It's the really big Ferris wheel that's on the strip. And so of course we bought the touristy $35 photo that would have cost us nothing if we just taken it ourselves, but that's okay. I was really happy, of course, because, they give you this little, souvenir type of jacket, which now I'm cutting up and going to use it to make a journal entry. And so I'm just gluing it down with a glue stick, and I'm really mad at myself for this because this was an opportunity to create a really cool pocket, especially for that souvenir photo. So I was kind of upset whenever I came back with the photo. I was like, I should have made it a pocket, but that's okay. I am now cutting out the High Roller Observation Wheel logo and placing it down in the corner so that I'll remember what it was, as if I wouldn't, but just using up that souvenir jacket that they gave to us. And here's our family photo that we took, trying to figure out where to place it. And I just decided to throw it into this pocket on the other side. I may go back and change it, but for now, that's where it goes. But wouldn't it have been so cute behind there? So bummed. Anyway, trying to do some journaling here on this paper, but realized that it wasn't showing up so well because it is such a busy paper. So I'm looking for a label and found this diagonal one that kind of looked like a Ferris wheel. So I figured, okay, I can use this and just do a little bit of annotating on that about that day. And these labels I actually found on Etsy, and I just printed them out on sticker paper. So, that way I'm always needing labels. So I thought, okay, at least if I have some in my digital stash, I can always print some out. But there's a really good variety of labels in this Etsy listing. So I will link it down below so that if you're interested, you can go take a look at it and see if that's something that you would like to add to your stash. And last but not least, my husband has been taking me to the gun range to do some training. I'm actually getting ready right now to go and take my CCW class, and more so just for peace of mind, so that if I ever do need to carry in any kind of weird situation, I don't know, I'm just being extra cautious. We're preparing for the worst. So I want to make sure that I'm ready for that. So here's my target that I practiced with yesterday. And that was really only the 4th time I have ever shot a pistol. So I think I did okay, considering, I do have to shoot within the 7 mark, which most of them were within the 9. It would be a couple rings out, which is the 7. I think I had one in the 7. So I always say, there's fear in the unknown. And that's probably why I was more fearful than anything of guns. It's just because I didn't know and understand them. But I feel like once you get comfortable with it and you understand safety and you practice, you're able to respect them in a different way. And as long as, of course, you're using them for the right purpose, which for us, it's protection, or if one day we needed to hunt or whatever, that is the purpose for us. So I'm not a promoter of guns or gun violence, but in this case, this is what our family is choosing to do to protect our home. So that wraps up this journal entry. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Would love to see you here again. So please subscribe if you'd like to see more journaling, Bible journaling, or crafty stuff. Until then, hui ho, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.